Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Abba Yahweh, we just lift your name up above all names on this earth. We give you all praise, honor, and esteem. You and you alone possess life and death. You bless us. You chastise us. You are the possessor of all things created, seen and unseen, known and unknown to us. You, Abba Yahweh, are the sovereign of this universe forever. And we just give you all praise, honor, and esteem. Hallelujah. And we say Toda Reba Abba for blessing and keeping us from hour to hour, from day to day, from Shabbat to Shabbat, even feast day to feast day. Hallelujah. Toda Reba Abba. And we ask Abba Yah as we come into your Shabbat day, your set apart day, that you bless us, Abba Yah, with your Ruach HaKodesh, that you guide the lessons, you inspire all that edify your word, Abba Yah. We thank you for blessing and keeping all of us, Abba Yah. We thank you for touching and healing all of the afflicted, Abba Yah, for answering our prayers, for being our Elohim, for being our Abba. Abba Yah, as we come back to the heritage, beginning with the language, we just ask that you open our minds, you open our lives, you open our hearts, Abba Yah, that we may understand how precious this heritage is that set us, this nation, your children, apart. That we may proudly, Abba Yah, reflect your goodness, your mercy, your grace, your power. In all things, Abba Yah, we give you thanks. Toda Reba Abba. Blessed is your name, Yahweh. Blessed are you, Yahweh, and blessed is he that comes in your name. We say Halal Yah, Halal Yah, Aman wa Aman.
Hallelujah, 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 and amen wa amen. All right, Mr. Can everybody see my screen pretty well?
Car Maury.
So what we're going to be doing today is just going over just a quick review. A lot of this portion of the review, I'm just going to do it quickly, and then we're going to move forward to trying to do some word recognition and reading practice thus far. So, we've given everybody Hebrew sheets. We have different ones, and do know that some of the letters are pronounced differently, whether you use a modern or ancient dialect, so on and so forth. So the Hebrew language, if everybody remembers, is read from what direction? How's Hebrew read? Somebody just blurt it out real quick.
Right to left.
All right, you say from right to left. How is English read?
Left to right.
All right, so that's one of the main things we got to remember when we start to read in the books of the Hebrew. Even when you open a Hebrew book, it opens from the opposite direction because it's going to be read from right to left, whereas in English it's read from left to right. Good job. So here we have our little Hebrew sheet. And if you see here, it says it has Sephardic pronunciation. And basically what that is letting you know is there are different pronunciations of Hebrew words. This particular sheet right here is going with the Sephardic pronunciation. You have Ashkenaz, you have all different dialects of Hebrew. So whenever we have brothers that are arguing today about the way someone pronounces their words in Hebrew, that's a very shallow argument, because depending on region, depending on really what nation of people you are, what dialect you may speak, because a lot of these dialects that we hear people speaking on TV and things like that is going to be more of the Germanic, Russian type Hebrew. It wasn't the actual ancient Hebrew that our forefathers spoke. And it was those who migrated into the land of Israel who assumed the identity of the Israelites, and they came with their dialect of Hebrew. So, but saying all that to say that you will hear people pronounce things differently. So I'm just going to go through a quick review on the alphabet and a vowel sheet. So we have here are going to be the book print alphabet, right? This is what you see. These are not the ancient Hebrew script. These are what we call the modern Hebrew script. These are the letters that were used after going through the Assyrian captivity. So this is more of an Assyrian writing. However, it is still called Hebrew script, even though it's the Assyrian writing. We have what's called the Phoenician or the Paleo Hebrew, which we will be covering at some point in the future, which is my preferred Hebrew, because if you go over to the ancients and any ancient tablets, you're going to see more of the ancients that was written to our forefathers in what's called Paleo or ancient Hebrew over the modern Hebrew. But because the majority of the Torahs and the books that are in print today, these are the scripts that are utilized, all right? So we have here Aleph. Aleph is the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which generally represents an A. Then we have here the Bet and Vet. I generally don't use both Bet and Vet, but for the sake of teaching and for recognition, whenever you see the dot here, that's when it's pronounced as Bet as in boy, a B as in boy. When there's no dot in the Bet, they're saying you pronounce it as a V, as in vine. So we have Bet or Vet, which is the exact same alphabet. It just depends on the dialect of the people who are speaking it, whether they use the hard B sound or they use the shortened V sound. Then we have the Gamel. And if you can notice over here, all Hebrew letters also have a numerical value, which we'll be focusing on sometime later. But just as going forward, just understand it starts off 1 through 10, and then it jumps up by tens, all right? So we have Gamel, which represents the G as in girl. Dalet, which represents the D as in door. Hey, which represents H as in house. Here they have Vav, what we pronounce it more as Wah, but in modern, they pronounce it as Vav. We pronounce it more as Wah. And they say it's V as in vine. This letter for us, we would recognize it more as a W, And when it's used as a vowel sound, it takes on a U or an O sound, depending on the placement in the word, all right? We have here Zayin. Zayin is going to be a Z as in zebra. All right. So we have here Ket. Ket, and Ket looks a whole lot like the Hey. If you notice here, the Hey has the opening here. The Ket and the Hey looks almost exactly alike. So that's why when we read some things, you will hear us sometimes stumble over words trying to be like, hey, that doesn't make sense to us, because we may not recognize the word. Sometimes the reason being is the look-alike letters that we've already covered. Some of them look so much alike that sometimes until your eyes get really trained to notice that Ket is always totally closed and Hey has this little opening right here, sometimes you will get these two confused. So, but this is a Ket, and it's a CH as in Bach, CH as in Bach. We have here the Tet, which represents a T as in tall, a T as in tall. We have Yod, which is the smallest letter in the Hebrew alphabet. It also has the numerical value of 10. So this is where the numbering system changes after Yod. We have Yod, which represents a Y as in yes. It's not making it necessarily sound like in yes, but it represents the letter Y. And each of these letters are representing what it would be in transliteration, or what letter it would be in our English alphabet, is kind of what this chart is basically letting us know. Okay, here we have the kaf. So you have the kaf with the dot, kaf without the dot. I really don't get too much caught up into that as much, but you have, it's telling you the kaf with the dot would be more as a K as in kitty, whereas in the kaf without the dot would be more of as a CH as in Bach, making the same sound as the ket here. And then, you know, there are 5 letters that we covered that have final forms. The final forms, or what we call ending letters or final form. So we have the kaf sofit, which is the ending form of a kaf, which looks a lot like a dalet, but it's much longer than a dalet, but it has almost the exact same physical appearance. Let me jump back up real quick to dalet. So you see dalet here, you see it's a shortened form. When you jump to this final form kaf, it looks a lot like a dalet. This is another one that you will hear sometime when we're reading and doing reading practice. You will hear some people actually pronouncing those two wrong sometimes. Then we have lamed. Lamed is a L as in look. Lamed is L as in look. Then we have the mem. This is the mem at the beginning or in the middle of a word, and the mem also has a final form. So the mem at the beginning or in the middle of a word, you notice it has this little opening down here, and it's shaped different. It has an extra participle here, whereas in the mem at the end of a word is closed. So at the words such as Elohim and things like that, this is the form mem that's at the end of the word Elohim. So mem represents the M as in moon. And again, if you pay attention, you see it's then jumped up to the number 40 because from Yod, it jumped up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, so on and so forth. So whenever you hear things like the number of a name and things like that, so names do have a numerical value when it comes to the Hebraic wording system. So the way these numbers are coming from is the actual numerical value that the letters add up to in a name. So that's a whole nother topic for another time, just kind of dropping it on you now. We also have here noon. The noon at the beginning or in the middle looks like this, and then you have the final form noon. And so again, a noon represents an N as in now. Then we have the samak or the samek, which actually looks a lot like the final form mem. If you look here, these are lookalike letters. The final form mem and the samek, samach looks a lot alike. The difference is the mem is a little more squared. This has a little bit more of a appearance of an O, even though they look almost identical. But when you read them in the book script, you'll be able to identify them a little better than you can on this on the sheet. But again, this is another lookalike letter. Then we have the ayin. The ayin is another one of the letters that they're saying that represents a silent letter. Ayin. The ayin actually, there's some people that thinks that it makes the I sound, but the letter ayin itself, and this word ayin literally means I in Hebrew. It means I in Hebrew, but this is a gluteral letter, as is the aleph. A gluteral letter is a letter that makes a throaty sound, so it makes more of a sound in a word. So this is the last letter of the last letter in the name of our Mashiach. And so when you hear how some people pronounce it Yahusha, so they're saying Yahusha, that's a very English pronunciation. But if we actually start to try to speak with a more Hebraic accent, because the Hebrew words do have accent marks and they are accented to try to tell us how to pronounce it, but it will be a little bit more like Yahusha, Yahusha. But, you know, for the sake of us just trying to do the best we can, you hear a lot say Yahusha or Yahawashah, or you hear some say Yahawashai. They're saying Yahawashai because there are those that say that the ayin makes the I sound. However, the ayin actually it means I. So in pictograph and things like that, this would actually be a letter that represents an I in a message that will be written on the walls, okay? We now have here what's called the pay or fey. And again, at the beginning or the middle of the word, this is what they would look like. However, it's saying with the dot, when you have the dot in it, it's letting you know to pronounce it as a P, as in park. Without the dot, you pronounce it as an F, or the PH as in phone, or the F as in food. So that's the pay. And it also has a final form, which appears like this at the end of a word. All right. So then we have here zade, zade at the beginning or in the middle of a word. It appears in this form. It also has a final form that it's hard for me now because my eyes are trained, but sometimes people will get the ayin and the zade mixed up. But if you actually look at the direction that they're faced in opposite direction, but they both have the appearance of somewhat of a Y, but you can see that they're turned in a reverse order. But again, this is going to be zade at the end of a word. And zade makes like the TS as in nuts sound. All right. And that's this is also the first letter in the word zit, which are the fringes and things that we wear on our garbs. The term zit comes from this. And a lot of times I would say it makes like a Z sound. All right. Then we have the kof, the kof, which makes a K sound. There will be sometimes you hear us use it making a Q sound, but they have in the Sephardic dialect, they're saying that it makes the K sound. Then we have here the resh. And again, look at the numerical jump. As you've seen here, 50, 60, 70. Now we up to at the kuf, we're at 100. All right. And then it's jumping now by hundreds, 100, 200, 300, 400. So they jump, that's the numbering system because the letters is how you number the system in the Hebrew. All right. So we have here the resh. The resh represents the R as in Robin. Then we have here the shin and sin, which you would normally only hear me use the term shin the majority of the time. However, for the sake of teaching purposes, the shin is when the dot is on the right-hand side. It's called the sin when the dot is on the left-hand side. And the difference is when it's saying that there's a shin on the right-hand side, you pronounce it as a SH as in she. When it's a sin, you only pronounce it as S as in son. All right. And then the final letter of the alphabet is the tau, or tav, or tau, or tah, depending on which dialect one utilizes. And here's the appearance of it in the beginning as well as in the end of a word or in the middle of a word. And it represents here in the modern a T as in tall. However, the ancients would have pronounced this more as a TH. But for the book print, and there are some words that will be hard to pronounce the tav as the TH. So that will be when we know to make the shortened sound versus the longer sound as the TH. All right. So going back real quick, we're now going to review the vowel sounds. The vowel sounds are here on this side. Again, the X only represents any consonant. It could be any consonant. So we're not paying attention to the X, excuse me, but we're paying attention to the vowel. And the vowel is the nakud of the pointed system that is placed either next to or beneath or above a consonant or a letter. And so with the exception of aleph and ayin, whenever the vowel sound is under the letter, you will pronounce the vowel sound after the letter itself. So if this was a bet, we're going to say this was a bet, this exit was a bet, then it would be ba. You pronounce the B sound, and then the ah sound of this ah as in yacht would follow the bet. But if we were to say that this consonant was to represent the aleph in this particular instance, then an aleph and an ayin says that you would actually make the aleph silent and the ayin silent, and you would actually utilize the sound of the vowel. So it would just be a ah, and the aleph already naturally to us represents a or ah. But if you were to put an aleph with a patak under it, you would just pronounce it as ah, but it's saying that you do not actually pronounce the aleph, you pronounce the vowel itself. So again, we have the patak. We have the patak, which looks like a dash. And it makes the A as in yacht, so ah sound, patak. Then we have here the komats, which looks like a little T or a line and a dot, or I'll say a little T up under the consonant, makes the same sound, A, as in yacht, so another ah sound. We have here the charek, which is a dot like a period, and it makes the double E as in B sound. Then we have here tesre, which makes A as in hey, or EY as in they, but it produces the A sound. Then we have the sagol, which is going to be 3 dots. So you see the singular dot harek, the 2 side-by-side dots is tessere, and the 3 dots is going to be sagol, which is going to be E as in bed, so sound, bed. Then we have here what is called the holum. Okay, the holum or a holum wa. So the holum or holum wa, so a holum is going to be the dot that would be over a consonant, and it makes a O as in row. A holum wa would be when you have the consonant wa here, and when you have the holum over, it's called a holum wa, but it makes the exact same sound, a O as in row, because there's times when, again, with or without the holum, there's times when a wa would actually take on a vowel sound in a word versus its consonantal value of a va or a wa. And so it would take on the U or an O sound. But what the holum does is it helps us to identify when it's going to be an O versus a U sound. Okay. So so holum or holum wa is an O as in row. All right. Then we have the kabuts, which are the 3 dots in a little diagonal like line, which represents a double O as in pool or somewhat of a U sound. Pool, O as in pool, okay, which is kibbutz. Then we have shrek, which is actually a Y or a Vav with a dot beside it, and it makes the exact same sound as kibbutz, as U, as in pool, okay. And then we have here kataf komats. So we have not covered this yet. And the next vowel that we will be covering starting next week will be the shiwa, which they're telling you is silent or short. So I'm not going to really touch these 2 at the moment. Right now, we're focusing on those that we've already covered. So this is just a quick review. And I would like to encourage everyone this week, if you would daily write your letters at least 10 times each. Write the letter, write the name of the letter, write your vowels 10 times each, write the vowel, pronounce it out when you're writing it out so that you get used to pronouncing it, and your vocabulary or your pronunciation will start to go with your sight. And the more you write them down and pronounce them out, the more you will grasp the language. So this was just a quick review. We will not be doing any of the sheets today. We're going to try to go into a little bit of the scriptures to do our reading today and some recognition of, how do I move this bar out of my way? There we go. Move this out of my way. Y'all bear with me. Y'all can't see this bar, but it's definitely in my way. All right. All right. So again, we're now going to the book script. I can move this back up. Here's what Hebrew actually looks like in the book script. It's just kind of all run together. And you can see here that we have the letters. We also have the vowels, and which you should already recognize. So with the exception of a few, which, we're not really judging hard on that. But now I would like to have a volunteer that would like to start volunteering, trying to do a reading of line 1. And this is still not saying that we want you to read fluently, but as we were doing on the sheets, I just want you to try to sound out the words the best you can by letter recognition, vowel recognition, and you start to sound these words out to the best of your ability. So if I have a volunteer, okay. I don't know if it's Tevin or Tamia, so the floor is yours.
Sheet.
Okay. And I want y'all to notice how Tamia just did that. That's one way that you do sound Hebrew words out. Don't drop the sound when you lose it. You hold it. So you see how she was like, she transitioned and she held her sound where she was at until she can transition into the next part. That's the way you learn how to sound the words out. So you have to keep starting over. Once you get part of the sound, hold that sound as you're trying to transition into the next sound. So she was like, sheet. Then she sounded it out. So great job on that. Next one.
Ra.
Okay. Good job.
Elohim.
Okay. Elohim. Why would this be Elohim? I'm gonna kind of get you a little bit on this one. Where are you getting the low sound from? Can you identify? Tell me why you would say Elohim.
Well, the lamed and is that the Holem Wa, right?
Okay, so it's not a Holem Y, it's the Holem. So the Holem Y would be if a Y is there, but it is the Holem. So yes, that's all I want to know. You got that right. Because the lamed has the Holem here. That's why she needs to make the low sound, Elo, because of that. Because a lot of times people miss the Holem, but she caught that. And that's what we're doing right now. They're trying to recognize the vowels, the consonants, the sounds, and why we're sounding the word out that way. So that's a good job, Camille. What do we have here?
That's olive with the
So again, don't worry about whether you recognize the word as a Hebrew word or not, or the vocabulary word. Right now, only worry about the sound that you're trying to produce. So don't try to be like, well, I may not recognize this word. Just worry about trying to pronounce the sound. What you see here.
well, that's the olive in the cat, but I'm not.
Oh no, that's not a cat. That's not a cat. That's a lookalike letter. That's a hey here. Let me see if I can find a cat for you.
That's a hay?
That's a cat here. This is a cat. This is a hey. You said this was a cat. It's not a cat. These three letters here, this letter, and this letter all look alike. Well, let me go here. This is closer. This is a cat. And remember, the difference between the cat and the hey is the opening here. You said this was a cat because it does look a lot like these two. But remember, this has like a
that's the
line here.
Yeah, so, that's the top.
So what letter is this now?
That's the top.
Okay, right. So that's the top. Now sound that out.
8.
Okay, good job. Good job.
Hashamayim.
One more time.
Hashamayim.
Hallelujah. Great job. Great job. All right. You're almost to the finish line. You're doing good. Hallelujah. Okay, so this is the vowel that we'll be covering next week that we didn't cover, which is the Shiwa. And a Shiwa, I'll go ahead and tell you quickly. Everyone may not remember it, but it makes a short sound or a silent sound. So instead of pronouncing the Y like wah, you would make more of a shortened sound. So like in lagoon or maroon, you don't say maroon or lagoon. So even in Hebrew, you don't always put the heavy ah sound on everything that has an a vowel. So that she was telling you to shorten the sound, sort of like in lagoon or maroon, where you don't say magoon or lagoon, you say lagoon, maroon. So here, this is just telling you basically that the a sound that follows this, you shorten it up some.
Okay.
And when you see my cursor go up to the top, I'm just admitting somebody to the room. So
Ra.
That's it.
Ra.
No. What you say this letter is?
Now I'm second guessing. It's not a vowel. Wait, no, not a vowel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it is a vav or y, but you were pronouncing it different just now, I believe.
I don't know.
No, you do know. I'm not letting you get away with I don't know. What sound does a vav or y make?
Va.
Okay.
Wa.
Okay, Kane. So now pronounce this.
Va. Et. Va.
Yeah.
Va.
Yes, you were there.
Oh. Okay,
But-
va.
So I would take va x or yx but it's actually va 8 because again you see the tessary.
Oh yeah.
But then you're going to see other places where this exact same arrangement is going to have the segal here, which is going to be et. So, but for the sake of recognizing sound, so you have va 8, or wa 8. Okay, good job. And now you got one last one to top it.
Okay. Ha. Ooh.
That's right.
Ha. Oh. Ha. I forgot what that letter was.
Go back to your
Final form or something.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So this is a final form, and this is a final form of what letter?
The Sade. So is it?
So now that you recognize it, now remember your rule: hold your sounds as you know them.
Hara.
No, you skip one.
Oh, geez. Ritz.
Yes. What I'm saying is unsure yourself. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm saying. And so everybody listen to how she held her sound, because sometimes it's going to sound like you just calling syllables, because again, the Hebrew words are formed of consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel. So it's letting you know how to pronounce your syllables. So sometimes it's just going to be ha-a-retz, and and she said it. So that was very good reading. Give yourself a nice hand clap. Everyone, if y'all would give Tamia a nice hallelujah. That was great reading, great recognition of the words. No, Zamiria, let me let somebody else volunteer first. I'll let you get another one later. Do we have another volunteer for line 2 for letter recognition? And a lot of times, the sooner you jump in, the sooner you get it over with. So, all right, Shashamar. All right.
Can y'all give it a try. Why not?
All right.
All right.
Bro, nah, I'm just joking with you, Shy.
Right. Let's see what we got. So we have Baha Ritz.
Okay. All right.
All right. Now we have He. Oh, okay.
So what's this letter?
That'll be Hey.
What's this vowel?
I don't know the vibe, but I do know it makes the A sound. I forgot the name.
Okay, so if you had to pronounce this and that together, what sound would you get?
Ha.
Okay, hold your ha. Ha what?
Hi.
Oh, okay, how you?
Ha-ta.
Okay, so you jump back. So remember how Tamia was holding her sound?
Yeah.
Once you transition, so you have ha, yeah. Now your syllable is changing again. So don't try to bring the yod back to this. Just pick up from here. So what does this and this sound make? So what's this letter?
Tav. And it's
Okay,
the T sound.
okay, so what we got here?
Ta.
Huh?
Ta.
Okay, so now try to sound it out all together again.
Haya. Haya ta.
Okay, good job. Good job.
Yeah. All right. Now we have
What's the letter?
Tav.
Okay, so we got the tile. Okay. What's the vowel on top of it?
Makes the O sound like in a row. So it'd be
Okay, so tackle that first. So the T and O is going to give you what sound?
two.
No, I mean, that would be in English, but if the hola makes the O
Oh, yeah.
as in row, so what would this be? T and O, what would that be?
Two.
No, you did it again. So the hola makes a O as in row, right?
And
O as in row. So then what would T and O as in row make? What sound would it make?
two.
No, you keep switching the sound. So the holum is always going to make the holum sound, which is O as in row. And you're
Right.
switching it to two instead of
Oh, okay. Yeah.
toe.
Oh, so
Mhm.
so how
Huh?
so how so how will
Okay, so this is a shrek. So you remember on the vowel sheet, the shrek makes a double O sound or the U sound.
double O?
So it'll be toe what?
How
Toe who?
to who?
Mhm.
Right, we have
So what's this letter?
will be the va,
Okay,
and the A sound would be ah, so it'll be
okay. So go ahead. So start to sound off.
tavu, tavu, ha,
No, just give me the sound right here first.
va,
Okay, now what do we have here?
boo, bo,
Okay, Bo. Okay, now what do we have here?
the ha, so we ho,
So we
double
have
O,
vabohu or wabohu. Vabohu, wa.
rohu.
Mhm.
Okay. Right now we have that short sounding.
Mhm.
And that'll be okay. Va, okay,
Mhm. Yep, that's right.
va, ha, okay, ho. It's that throat sound. Yeah.
Okay, no, look at this. Look at this letter. What sound does this letter make?
Okay, so that's the chat, not the chat. I call it chat, but I think it's pronounced a different way.
Uh-huh. Yep. Uh-huh.
Okay, so it'll be chat.
So what sound does the cat make?
Chat. It's kind of, I think believe it's that throat sound.
Okay, it can be throaty, or sometimes it can sound sort of like a K sound.
Okay, so we looks like that. Ah,
No, don't try to go back to here. So you just want to pronounce this sound and the whole.
okay. Cho,
Yeah, Cole. Cole. Now what do we have here?
we have co, then we have she,
Huh?
she,
She. Okay, so we have she, but bring this letter on to it too. So we have she, and what's this letter?
That's the final form of cough.
Okay, so the she and this letter added to she will make what sound? She.
Shik.
Okay,
Shik.
so we have vachoshek or wachoshek.
Oh,
All right.
shik.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
Wachoshek or vachoshek. Okay.
Oh, shik.
Mm-hmm. All right. Going down to the next line.
All right. Then we have, this is ayin, the silent letter, but it has, also
What? This med come right after. So how do you sound it out together?
Allah.
Okay, so this one is going to actually be all. Okay, all.
All.
Mm-hmm.
We have hey. It's the short
Mhm.
sound. So
Remember, so you already know it's pay. So what sound does pay make?
Pagay. Pagay.
You said what?
Pagay.
A what?
Pagay.
No.
Pagay.
What sound does the pay make?
Oh, the P. Puh.
Uh-huh. So it makes the puh sound. So you already got that covered. So now where you go from here? Puh what?
Pagay.
No, that's not a look at this letter again. What letter is this?
Oh, I'm thinking that's a Gimel. That's the nun. Oh,
Okay.
Panay.
Panay. Good job. Good job. Mm-hmm. And so remember, like we said, those lookalike letters will throw you off. So yeah, so that's Panay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Come on, keep pushing, don't give up. So what sound does Tav make?
Ha. So, ha. Aha. Boom. So haum.
So we got Tahum. So
Tahum.
because remember, this holum wa is going to give you the same as if it was just a holum right here. So you have Tahum. Tahum. Mm-hmm. Good job.
All right. Then we have.
Now this is actually a hard one. Most people get it after they just keep trying, but there's a rule here that we're going to have to explain at some point because this is the only time when pronunciation changes. And but go ahead and try to sound it out, and you're going to see what I'm saying in just a moment. But the pronunciation changes, and there's a rule that I'm going to have to discuss with this word in particular. But go ahead and try to sound it out.
Rahum. Rahum. Rahu. X.
Okay, so that's a hard one. All right, so this is why ruach. So you have some that would say rawawak or ruka because they're trying to figure out how to transition this ket and this patak sound. But in this particular instance, instead of how to pronounce the consonant and then the vowel, it is kind of coming after the fact. So you have wa ruach. The consonant is actually coming after the vowel sound here, where generally the consonant comes before the vowel sound. So the word ruach is one of the harder words to identify or to pronounce because of the placement of this vowel at the end. So we have wa ruach. All right.
All right. All right, we have la. I'm not familiar with that symbol.
Don't worry about the first one here. Just recognize the. Oops, I already gave you the word now.
Okay. Yeah.
So just worry about the segal. This is a segal with a shiwa in front of it, trying to tell you to pronounce something shorter, but remember the segal makes an eh sound. So what we have here?
Okay. So yeah.
Eh.
Ella.
So you would have Ella, but they put a hole in there, so it's going to switch to Ella to El what? El.
Hello.
Elo, okay.
Aloha.
Okay, so you have the ha again, but it has a vowel under which is harek. Harek makes the E as in B sound. So you
Right.
have Elohi. What Mr. gave it to you.
Elohim. Yeah, I started to. It started to sound like Elohim because I remember the M and the mem at the end. So I said, this must be Elohim.
Yeah, Elohim. All right. Now we got a very hard word coming up that gives everybody a struggle. I'll tell you what. No. Go ahead and try to sound this one out. It's a very hard word
Right.
that we have. A lot of us have issues pronouncing, but go ahead and try it out.
Okay. Mara. Heck.
Try it again. Do it one more time.
Mara. Heck.
Okay, Mara. Let me give you this one. So you have the mem, the resh, the ket, the fey, and the tav. The mem and the shiwa is going to give us more of the mah, like in maroon, marachafeth. So again, each of these you're pronouncing the consonant and the vowel. Marachafeth. Okay. We're almost to the end. You're almost to the end.
Yeah. All right. So. Allah.
Okay, you can say Allah or Al.
B'nai.
Good job. What letter is this? Okay, so sound it out.
Oh, hey.
Okay, hey. So now go ahead and sound it out.
Hama. Emma.
So you have ha, ma. Remember, if it's consonant, vowel. So a lot of times when we don't pronounce the yod, because it's in a vowel placement, but whenever you already have consonant, vowel, you're now gonna have to recognize the yod as in its consonant form because there's a vowel under it. So you have ha, ma, yim. Ha, ma, yim. All right.
So you said, okay, if we have yod and we have a vowel under it, we just pronounce, the actual letter with the vowel sound.
Okay, so let me show you a different one. Okay, so look at this word here, right? We have Elohim. So you have the yod mem here, just like you have the yod mem here. But this is Elohim. This is Ha-Ma-Yim, because you actually had to pronounce the Y itself. Because again, you pronounce the Hebrew word consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel. Here they already had the consonant, vowel. So now it's only going to come here because the next consonant is going to be the mem, because this particular yod is in the place of a vowel. So whether this hirek was here or not, we would know to pronounce this yod here as a vowel sound. Whereas in this yod here, which has the exact same ending, yod mem, we still needed the Y sound to pronounce this word properly. So we have ha-ma-yim, ha-ma-yim. All right. So I want you to continue to work with verse 2, going through and try to get fluent in that verse. And next week when we read, I want you to read verse 2 again. Like I said, because it's a lot of practice in that verse. All right. So what time are we at? All right, Zamiri, I'm gonna give Zamiri a go, and then we're gonna get ready to yield for give her opportunity to get her reading in. So she wanted to read. So here's you hold the laptop and point the cursor yourself. You're doing line 3 and 4.
Why Mer Elohim Yahi or why Yahi or
Okay, go to the next line.
why Elohim et ha or ki tob why badal Elohim bain ha or ubain ha koshek.
Good job. All right. Let me see. Shaquan has her hand raised.
I just had a question. Don't want to read.
So you want to read?
No.
Oh, you said you don't want to read.
No, I just had a question.
Okay, what's your question?
Like in verse 3 at the last word.
Here?
The little hyphen in the between the yo and the aleph, is that just saying to break up that word?
Yeah, it's joining this pretty much thought together.
Okay.
And it's but so the word wouldn't be run together. So and I'm gonna show you why. So this word and this word is exactly the same word. This is the exact same word. This word and this word, with the exception of the Y in front of it, is the exact same word, right? So watch what's happening here. So it says Wayomer. Amar is the root word for say. So we have Wayomer, and he said, who said? Elohim. So Elohim says something. What did he say? Yahi. Yahi, exist or be. Be what? Or. So Yahi or, be light. Wayahi. So now it is letting you know, and there was Wayahi, and existed, or and there was, or. So it's just, this was a thought that's joined together. So it's Wayahi or, so it's completing the statement of Wayomer, and he said, Elohim said, Yahi, exist or be light, and it was light.
Oh, that makes sense now. Toda.
Okay, good question. Oh, that's a good question, because that's, like I said, as we were reading, what slows us down sometimes in reading is when you start to see all these things, you're like, hold on, we didn't cover this. Like, what? Why is that there? And then you start to try to switch how you pronounce something. You're like, I don't recognize that vowel being on top of anything, but it's not actually there's a vowel, it's just a connector. So that was a good question. And it's showing that you're paying very close attention and you're trying to recognize your vowels and your points. But what you're going to see is accent marks and all these different type things. And we'll be covering them the further we get into the book. But so, yeah, but y'all did a great job, Ms. Prakar. So right now, this was just sounding out the words, getting familiar with your letter recognition, vowel and vowel sound recognition, and being able to pronounce words by recognizing the consonant and vowel and sounding them out. And y'all did a fantastic job today. Never worry about how slow you're going, and never let it intimidate you. The only way we get past and we get further beyond is the more we practice and the more we do it. But again, I will tell you that if you're not practicing your vowels and your consonants or your letters on your own time, you will not speed up. But in the beginning, we're all going to call words in the beginning. But, we want to continue to practice so that we will start to get more and more fluent, and we will start to identify letters quicker than we usually did in the very beginning when we first started. But y'all are doing a fantastic job. May the Most High be praised as we're trying to return to the culture. So is there any other questions before I close this segment? All right, y'all did a great job. I now yield the floor. I'm stopping my screen share. I yield the floor to Zach.